Hello guys, Tails86 here with Weekly Review. Today I'm going to be showing off 3D Game Heroes for the PlayStation 3 that came out in 2010, made by From Software Incorporated, licensed by Atlas USA. This is also a video for Atlas USA as they subscribed to me, and I was hoping that they would post a comment on some of the games that I own from them. So I'm also hoping that they will go ahead and post a comment, and I'm hoping now I'll get lots of comments for this review. So let's go ahead and talk about the main menu first. Of course, we have new game where you start a new adventure, continue where you continue on your adventure that you're previously on, editor to edit your own characters, which I'll talk about that in a minute, your album for you to take snapshots and install game data onto your hard drive. Just by pressing on that, you'll install the game data instead from the disk. You can install it so it's instead of you having to have the disk anymore, you can just install it onto your PS3's hard drive. So anyway, let's go ahead and go to the editor, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. Also talk about the story basically too. So basically, you can create your own character however you want. It can be a male, it can be a female, it can be anything you want. So like, let's say if we wanted to, okay, we don't have any load data, so excuse me for that. Let's say if we wanted to try to make a character, you can make them however you wish. You can make them also a certain class. Each of them have different classes. You can be a hero, you can be a prince, or you can be a scholar. So let's say we're going to be a hero. Now, if you want to, you can actually edit it however you want. You can edit the pose, you can make it how it stands, you can make it how it has two different ways you can rock, you can do the hooray. You have two different ways you can change your attacks and stuff. So basically that's the editor. Now there's actually a way for you to actually make a link one of these, but the only way you can do that is you have to go on a certain game website. I do not remember exactly which one, but there is a game site that'll give you like a download that you can download on your PC and be able to show that off on 3D Game Heroes. So let's go ahead and start with the actual game and continue from where we left off. Now this only takes 307 kilobytes for your game data. That's really small. Now, as I showed you before, you have different types of characters that you can use. All of these are characters that are already pre-made from Atlas Incorporated and from software. All of these characters you can use, as well as even more. And there are lots of them. So there's a lot of customization you can do to this game. So for the time being, we are not going to change characters, and we're just going to go straight to the game. Now, the way that they did the graphics on this game, I find, is really amazing, because I mean, they went kind of like an 8-bit style fixed with 3D graphics. So basically, they kind of basically just did like a fusion of both 8-bit and 3D graphics combined, which I think was really awesome, especially from everything that they did. I mean, they did it with everything, the trees, the characters, and yes, there's even pixels in this game, as you just saw right there. So basically, though, you move your character around. You can move the directional buttons, or you can use the analog stick to move them around. You press X for your sword. You can do a slash if you do X and then move with your sword. And like it shows right here, you have what looks like hearts. They're actually apples. And the way to gain your health is you have to find apples. Now there's two different types of apples. There's green apples and then there's red apples. Red apples, of course, meaning for health, and then green apples meaning for magic. If you have a full set of health, your sword will be at its strongest strength that is available, at least for the time. When you start losing health, your sword decreases in size, but is still powerful. So as you can see, when I don't get hit, my sword is much longer. Now you have different types of weapons in the game. If you go to R2 and L2, you can change the different weapons. You have boomerangs, you have bombs, you have arrows, where you can fire, of course, with arrows and bows. And you have a wire rod, which really resembles the hook shot from the Legend of Zelda series. And that's another thing I really found that they really did with this. They copied off the Zelda series like extremely well. I mean, there's puzzling in the game just like in a Zelda title. I mean, there's dungeons you can actually go in, there's temples, and there's even really extra cool little spells that you can actually learn. Like, I'll even go and show that real quick. We have one of them which is like an invisible tablet. Basically that's what they are. They're tablets, and there's 7 of them in the entire game that you have to get. I only have 3 of them so far, but what can you do? Because the game is pretty hard. But you have one where you can unveil like hints in the game, like saying if you're stuck on one part, you can use it to try to unveil like secrets of the game, like in a certain temple. The second one right here is a deflecting spell, which you can deflect magicians from using magic on you, because apparently you cannot strike them with your sword. You have to use the deflect to deflect their magic back at them. And then this one is called Normal Map. I don't know why they chose that name. I guess it's they just wanted to try something a little bit goofy but retro in the same way. But it basically is a attack where you can use kind of like an earthquake, kind of like ground waves. And you create ground waves throughout the entire area that you're in within a certain range of distance. So as you can see, they really did a really nice job on the game. I mean, there's a whole lot of characters that you can fight off against. There's huge epic boss fights. And I mean, there's just so much of a reminiscent to Zelda in this game. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you have bombs, you have arrows. I mean, you even have some simple things of Zelda, like, of course, I said the wire rod that resembles the hook shot. But I mean, there's so much that reminds you of Zelda when you play this game. I mean, it's like, oh my god. I mean, they perfectly just nailed it. Now, I mean, there's a couple things that I would have changed. In a couple of the levels, you have a lot of these secretive little spots where they shoot out arrows and stuff. That kind of got on my nerves because sometimes you don't know where they're coming from. You have to be like watching the entire screen at the same time. But then again, that's kind of like the hard difficulty like in the older Zelda titles too. So I can see that they really wanted you to spend some time on this game to get used to it. Now basically though, you can open up your main menu by pressing on the start button. You can go to your options, you can customize your own settings. You can basically take snapshots. So let's say we want to take a snapshot. We can have different camera angles. You can go from angles A, B, C, D, and you need to have a free camera angle where you can move your character around. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. You can even take bigger screenshots of them. You can take basically just shots. But I mean, there's a lot of reminiscence to Zelda in this game. I know I keep saying that over and over, but it really does. I mean, I haven't played a good game like this one, other than a Zelda game, in a very long time. I mean, they just did it spectacularly. I mean, the graphics are beautiful, the story is excellent, and I mean, even the attacks and the techniques that you earn, they're really really powerful if you really think about it. Because I mean, I I really have nothing else really to say. I mean, because it's a brilliant game. I mean, anyone who loves Zelda games should definitely pick it up. Because I mean, it's just one of those types of games that it'll catch your heart because it reminds you again of Zelda, and it reminds you of just an awesome adventure of saving the sages from the world plunging into darkness. So guys, thank you so much for enjoying my review of 3D Game Heroes. I'm hoping that you guys will watch some more of my reviews later in the future. Also, please feel free that if you haven't seen any of my other reviews, please go ahead and do take a look at some of those, because some of them have not been getting as many views as I wanted to, and I've been kind of putting them out a couple days too early. But anyway, thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys will continue watching more of my reviews later in the future. And until then, thank you guys. This game gets a 9 out of 10 for being an awesome game made by an awesome company. From Software and Atlas, thank you guys again for subscribing to me. And guys, take care. Later.